Welcome again in learning Java. Here we are going to learn the implicit and explicit conversion, the control structures in Java. So for the first implicit and explicit conversion, I will provide an explanation along with the practical implementation. You have already learned about implicit and heard about implicit and explicit conversion. Implicit conversion simply means that the smaller data type can be directly assigned to the larger data type, meaning that a char, here I am commenting it so you can have it a view. In the meanwhile I am typing. So first the char, for example, char c equals to a. This char variable can be directly assigned to the int variable without any compile time error. So this is the main feature. This is one of the feature of the Java where you can directly assign a data type of smaller size to the data type of larger size automatically without having any errors on it. So if I am printing it, it will not give any error. So it will print it as A. The ASCII value of A has 97. Then if a conversion has to be made of a data type of larger size to a data type of smaller size, then an explicit conversion has to be done in Java. So the explicit conversion will look like if you want to convert a long value into a int value. Here long has a data type of size 8 bytes and int is a data type of 4 bytes. So converting a larger data type into a smaller data type requires us to write an explicit conversion. So here I am writing long L equals 10. Int, if I assign it directly, it will give me a compile time error saying that it cannot convert from long to int. So I have to explicitly say that convert my long variable into int. So I have to write int and then L. So now there is no compile time error. We can print it in the console. System.out.println I. So if I print it, it will give me the output 10. These are the concepts of implicit and the explicit conversion. The next concept is control structures in Java. The control structures in Java is used to alter the flow of the control and execute statements based on the condition. It means that it has a different flow and we have to follow that order, be it a conditional statement or a looping statement, and then the sequence flows to that particular statement and then produces a correct answer. So here it is classified into 4 types. One is the decision making, second is the looping statement, third is the exception, and fourth is the miscellaneous. Now here we will look at decision making. Decision making consists of 3 statements: if, else, switch case. So 2 statements: if, else and switch case. So the syntax of if is if of condition. Writing some true part inside the condition, else it will print the else part. So for example, I am giving the value as int a equals 5. So if of a equals 5, then print me hello. You can write any inside condition, it doesn't matter. For example, I am illustrating like this. Hello or hi. Okay, now if I have assigned a variable a which has a value 5 with the data type int. Now I am checking like if a has a value 5. If it has a value 5, then print me hello, otherwise print me hi. I will show you both the true and the false condition. Now here the condition is true. 5 is equal to 5. So the if condition will get executed and will print hello. So run and OK. So hello is printed here. So I will give you another condition like if a not equal to 5. If a is not equal to 5, so 5 not equal to 5, it's wrong. So it will print the else part. It will go to else part and print the else condition. So it is printing me hi. Next we will see the switch statement. Switch usually is used when there are multiple conditions to be checked. It has a case default value if the case variables are not matched. I will illustrate you with the example. Int a equals 5. So the variable that needs to be checked with the cases is passed as an expression in the switch. So switch of a. Case 1 something system.out.println a 1 like this. It is necessary to give a break after each case statement. If I doesn't give break in each case statement, it will print all the case conditions as true and will print until the default condition. So I have written case 1. If the value of the a is 1, it goes here. If the value of the a is 2, it goes here. If the value of the a is 5, it comes here. So I'm going to run it and show you the output. Wait for a minute. So here the value to be checked is passed as an expression. The 5 is passed as an expression. It matches this case and prints me 5. If I give a 6 and run it, it gives nothing because there is no case has 6. So hope you have understood about the conditional statements like if else and switch. The if else can be further nested as if of, then under if of we can write as many if else we can, but the main condition is that the curly braces should be properly ended and opened. You have now you may have learnt about the implicit and explicit conversion, the different conditional statements, and here ends our session. Thank you for listening.